I was thinking, as per usual, and I kind of came to this realization. You had talked about how you wanted to be with a villain, to be with someone who would save you before anyone else, to put you and your needs, your wants, who you are above everyone else. I think that's what you were doing beforehand. You were molding people to put your needs and your wants above either their own or maybe people in their family or their friends. You were changing their morals and values to align with yours. And that's what I think your therapist meant by controlling. I kind of came to this realization because it was like when I would to like go away with friends, I would offer to bring you into my world, but you would have rather I'd been in your world. You didn't want that. You didn't want to like get to know anyone outside of your world. You stayed in your world and you wanted me to just be there, to exist with you. So if I went away and I didn't come back for a while, you'd ask when I was coming back. You'd tell me to come back. But it was always like you tried to make it my choice. Because I think that's what you were trying to like teach yourself and learn after the years of doing this, I guess, is to like make it their choice. To not force them to come back to you as much as you wanted them to. Because you want people to like completely dismiss and say fuck off to the friends if you call for them, you know? That's what you want. You want to be put first. You want to be the first priority. What's interesting is that I think, to me, a friendship and a relationship is when you don't only put you don't put one person, you both put each other as your first priorities or as part of your priority list. Like maybe your first priorities are your family and your second priority is your career or your friends, and then your third priority is your relationship together. But for you, what you want is to be someone's first priority and only priority. That's really interesting to me because I understand how your therapist would think that's controlling. I don't think you see it that way. I think how you see it is like with your partner, you want them to know that everything in your world is not theirs, but they're a part of. That you want them to be a part of your world in everything, in work, in friends, in family, in space, in proximity. It's all going to be with you and never with anyone else. You want the security of a partner that will always choose you first. That if they go off and do something, that if you need them, they will always come back to you when you need them. That if they were to like be focused on their career and you were to go through something or you were to just need a moment with them, that they'd be willing to like stop what they're doing and give you that moment that you need. It's really interesting to think of it that way because like if someone was to do that and you needed them all the time, constantly, for everything, that's a lot of pressure to put on a person. how I mean, I think I've said it before, but like I'm one of those people that really craves codependency, which is why I think attached to you so quickly, is that I recognized that codependency in you. Wanting someone to be the villain in their story, to be your hero, that's codependency. You want someone to solely rely on you, and you to solely rely on them for affection and love and a friendship and all of it. And while I don't think that's bad, I think when you do it to someone who doesn't want that or can't grasp that as a value, it turns into an issue. But I do find it interesting. I think that, like, I kind of criticize your therapist for saying that you would, like, regress doing that. I think that they just don't understand that what you're doing is not a way to, it's not like intentionally a way to manipulate the fuck out of people. It was, but it isn't. It's just you want someone in your life that will stay in your life, that isn't going to move away from your life because they're harping on something else going on in someone else's life. You want to be that person's life, that person's everything. That does, like, beg the question of, like, are you that type of person to do that for someone else? If someone was to say to drop your career and drop your friendships and drop your community and drop your everything so that you could be in that person's proximity, would you do it? I don't think you would. Because you've built your life from the ground up. You've done so much work to get where you are. I think what makes it unbalanced is that it's easier to ask someone to make you their first priority if they don't have a set of priorities themselves, if they don't know what their priorities are. It's a lot easier to ask someone to put you first when they don't have anything that they're putting first at the moment, or they're switching between different things that they put first. Which I guess in a way that just makes them very malleable and naive. I was talking to my friends earlier, and they had said that they don't like you. And I was trying to figure out why, because for the life of me, I can't understand how someone could ever dislike you. They said that I have rose-colored glasses on, and that as much as I see the cracks, I still have you put on a pedestal. And what they see whenever I talk about what's going on in my life is that I'm being used. But what I see is that I am doing my best to support you. What they see as I am doing work for no compensation, I see as I am putting forth the effort to be someone you can rely on. I realize now that I was making you my first priority. And with Lush, it was like, because I was making you both my priority, it didn't feel like you were controlling me or anything, because I was doing it on purpose. I was willing it to happen. I was willing to become the villain so that I could be your hero. But it was really hard for me, because there's this big part of me that wants to be the hero in everybody's story, not just yours. And that was hard for both of you to understand, because you both wanted someone to make their top priority and no one else. I think Lush was a bit more of a like just exist type person, but you wanted me to have you be my top priority. And what's interesting is that you were willing to have Lush take a part of that priority. Not all of it, but part of it. Because you trusted her enough to be a first priority along with you. It was never like a fight for priority. You just kind of trusted that I would equally love both of you. I don't know, I find that interesting. It also doesn't change anything, I don't think. It's like my head is like, I don't know what to think of it. Because I still don't think anything wrong of it. I still believe that, oh, okay, this is coming from the mindset of someone who still likes you. Let's be completely real here. As much as I try to tell myself, hey, I don't like this person anymore, I still make you my first priority for most things. So yeah, I do like you still. Like, if it's work, your priorities are on the top of my list before my other clients. If it's like talking or whatever, most of the time my priority is your work and then talking to you and then whatever the heck else I have going on. I realize that like there are some things that like, I don't know, if I don't know, Vinny were to like call me or something, he would take priority because I know he's going through things whenever he calls me. And I tend to try to be the hero in people's story. And that's what I was trying to do with you. I think what happens is you tend to find people that want to be the hero, that want to be your hero. And they don't realize how much of a hero you want out of them. And that's what makes it controlling, when they don't understand just how much of a hero that you want. They don't get it. Is it weird that I think that if someone does get it, that it doesn't become a controlling thing anymore? It's just a state of like, you both understand where each other is coming from, and that you need reassurance that the person will constantly be there just as much as they need reassurance that you care about them. I don't know. Maybe I'm just weird. That could very well be it, actually. I don't know if any of that makes sense or anything like that. I guess I just thought I'd say it. I also don't really know where it came from. Like, I was just talking to myself about how, like, maybe I was too annoying to have brought up what I did, because I really shouldn't have butt into the situation like that. Because, Ina and you can figure out your own stuff, and that's not my problem, and I shouldn't, it's not something I ever should have talked about or whatever. I don't know, I guess it came about really randomly. I went on a tangent and a spiral, and I was like, I have to record what I'm thinking because I don't know what's going on. And I am gonna send this to you, I think. Just because I don't know what to make of it or if it makes any sense. And if possible, could you kind of help me see if I'm correct and what I'm thinking or my assumptions? I really don't know what I'm talking about. I'm sorry. And again, I'm really sorry for butting in like that. I had no right to. It's not for me to do. I'm not a priority on your list. That's what it is. That's what I've been so I don't understand what's going on. It's that I make you a priority and I'm not a priority on your list. It's not reciprocated. That when we first started hanging out together and we were doing the whole dom sub thing, I was a priority. You made me a priority. It was a small priority, but it was a priority. I was a priority somewhere, and I felt it, and I loved that. It was my favorite feeling in the world to have been a part of someone's life. It was nice, and it felt good. It was reassuring. And that made me want to make you a priority in my life, to rank you up in every tier, to push aside or put friends below and put family below and put career below so that I could just keep being a priority in your life. That is obviously a me problem, definitely not a you problem, but it's really interesting, I think, that I've continued to make you a priority in my life. That I continue to make you a priority in my life. And the fact that I'm not a priority in yours, that's where my friends see the using. They don't understand kind of where I'm coming from, why I make you a priority when you don't make me one, if that makes sense. Oh my god. Thank fuck I finally figured it out. I swear to god, this has been in my head, just gnawing at my brain for fucking months. Cause I think it's ever since that point, that turnaround, that day where your therapist was like, you can't do that anymore. You can't be in a position of power anymore. You took me off of your priority list. I was put aside, and I felt that, and I hated that feeling of being put to the side. I didn't like that. It was like being emotionally left in a way, in a sense. I felt emotionally abandoned or whatever, which is not fully true, but kind of in a sense, actually. Because like you said, you won't go out of your way for people. Why would you? You have no reason to. And when you weren't allowed to let me make you my priority, you had to take me off of your priority list. You had to remove me, and you had to locate me elsewhere. That way I wouldn't be an issue. But that doesn't stop me from making you a priority. That doesn't stop how, I don't know, part of me is hung up on the words, nothing's gonna change. I'm just going to stop being in the power dynamic. But like everything changed. Because the power dynamic was gone. And you needed that in order to understand that I was a priority at all. And I guess it makes sense. Like, why would I be a priority? You know? You're straight as fuck. There's no reason for me to be a priority. And that whole dynamic was gone. So I should have stopped making you a priority, but I didn't. Because I was living in Delulu land. And honestly, I'm still, because I still make you a priority. But you're not forcing me to do that. You're not telling me to do that. I'm doing that on my own. That's so annoying to me that, like, I think, and don't get me wrong, I could be wrong, obviously, but, like, I don't think you ever forced people to make you a priority. They just did it because they wanted to be a priority in your life. They knew that if they didn't make you a priority, that you wouldn't prioritize them. And when you make someone a priority in their life, it feels really good. I would know from personal experience. No, that's just, I'm sorry. I have been trying to, like, figure out what this feeling is for so long. I've been stuck on it for so long. And it's like I've been trying to, I don't know, there are, like, parts of me that I'm just like, maybe I should try prioritizing myself more in this area. But I never want to move you down in my tier list of priorities. I never do. I don't want to. I choose not to. You are my priority. I've made you my priority. And I don't regret it. I don't want to change that. Part of me knows that I should, and that I have to at some point, because, well, I mean, I'm not your hero. You have your hero. The nerd guy that has your heart and is your baby daddy is your hero. Oh, how cute. Oh my god. I'm glad I finally kind of put a thought to this thing that I've been feeling and not been able to explain. My head hurts. Holy fuck. Dude, why am I still fucking up thinking about shit? Jesus Christ, kill me.